Welcome Aditya Keshav, Sambhavika, Rudvi. How are you, ma'am? Expected rank holder. Nanda, Bonesh, welcome. Alex, good evening. Deepak ji, welcome. Akash. Siddharth, welcome. Ashwin, Gitanchali, good. Happy to see you all. Welcome. Ganeshan, welcome. Shankar, இனிய மாலை வணக்கம். Nice. Ashwin Balaji, good. Sri Bhargavi, Pavitra, welcome all. Sai, welcome. Haripriya, good evening. Pooja Jain, how are you, madam? Long time no see. What happened? Studying well? Jai Sai Ram, Jai Shri Ram, good evening. Shri Bhargavi, welcome. Good. Yashwant, welcome. Ananya, Bhavna, Dilip, Shankar, all of you, good evening. We forced to wait. Chief guest is on the way. That's why. Hema, welcome. Yes. Guest has come, it seems. Jennifer, good evening. Hema Priya, Hema, Arun, very good evening, all of you. Good. Supraja, welcome, Kanna. So, yes, I'm fine. Thank you, Kanna. Thank you. Abhishek, good evening. All are waiting for ICA announcement, am I right? Eagerly waiting for institute announcement. Good. Kavita, welcome. What, Anish? Busy
Yes,
schedule.
Good.
Good.
Yes, sir.
The background, is it possible to switch off that light? Backside.
Yeah, I'll do this. I'll just turn on it, sir.
Yeah, that is better. Yeah. Different getup. COVID getup.
Yes, sir. Quarantine.
Yes. Welcome, Kana. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Very good evening, all of you, my dear students. Learn income tax in a fun way by our sweet faculty, Anish, practicing chartered accountant, FCA. Very difficult to digest his FCA. You're looking like student only. He has completed certificate course with respect to international taxation. He's a faculty member of ICA, Coimbatore, Tirupur, Madurai, Tiruchi with respect to orientation as well as GMCS program trainer. In addition to that, you should learn from this guy. He's not only expert in taxation, not only expert in the practicing what CA related activity. Everyone knows he's a dancer, singer, keyboard artist, badminton player, athletics. So many things are there. So all in all, okay, Anish. And another interesting is he is very much interested in animation. Script writer with respect to movie buff, am I right? Movie buff and all. So many talented guy. In class, I used to call him as a chocolate boy and a very naughty boy also. And now he is going to take the taxation in the sweet manner, how to learn income tax in the funny manner. Okay, fun approach, you are going to learn income tax. Since he is a specialist in animation, we will check whether animation is there or not, how he is going to present his taxation paper. Over to Anish. Welcome, Anish.
Thank you
Really
so
proud
much.
of you. Good, keep it up, Kanna.
Thank you, sir.
Because the moment they join CA course, they will surrender everything as if they are Munivar. They don't want to do any extracurricular activity. But you have proven, with in addition to your all hobbies and all extracurricular activities, you have cleared CA and you are successful child in Coimbatore. Welcome, Kanna. Please,
Thank you,
you
sir.
can start now.
Thank you, sir. So first of all, I would like to thank Hariharan sir. Now a student, and in fact, sir oda class ka Palakkad varaikkum I have traveled once. So a crazy
I
time, sir.
I scolded also that time.
Yes, sir.
So many outstation students are there. You can talk full in English. Okay, if possible.
Sure, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Please, hand over
Thank
to
you.
you.
Yes. So with that, we'll start for today. And so, as I told you, we are going to see some kind. We are going to watch a movie right now. It's not going to be a income tax paper as it is. So it's going to be a movie which we'll be watching now. Right. So that we'll go ahead.
Shall I charge any ticket?
Long ago.
So before getting into the movie part of it, so I'll try to give a small orientation towards it. So first of all, the material is planned based on the type of learners you are. So broadly, we can say we can classify ourselves to be four kinds of learner. So one, we can say you are a visual learner. So you like watching animations, videos through which you learn. That is one kind of learner. Second kind of learner, we can call them as an auditory learner. So you hear and you learn. So that is the second category. Third category, we can say kinesthetic. You feel things, you play with things, and you learn. So that is the third kind. And fourth is a read and write learner. So you read, write, and again there are multiple classifications. Physical learners, you like to walk and read. So likewise, it goes on. So as of now, this material is meant for the visual learners and auditory learners. Later on, I have planned for games. So we play games in income tax class and we learn. So that's for the kind of learners. Second thing I want to start before going into this is how your brain works. So generally in CA, we use our left brain because we think, analyze, and give an answer. So analytical part is very strong for us. The creative part of the brain is the right brain. So generally what happens with the brain is it loves incremental aspects. So give a big picture to the brain and start using the left brain and drilling into it, it becomes easy for you. So in this method, we are going to try to use both our right brain and left brain in the same phase. So we'll get into the story now. So Vikram Veda படம் பார்த்திருப்பீங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். So விஜய் சேதுபதி ஸ்டைல்ல சொல்ல போச்சுன்னா இப்போ ஒரு இன்கம் டாக்ஸ்ல ஒரு கதை சொல்றேன். We'll start with the story. Yes, sir.
There lived a wise and just king named Vikramaditya. Once, a sage came to his palace, gifted him mangoes which contained rubies. The sage wanted King Vikram to do a favor. He wanted him to go deep into a forest and come back with a corpse which was possessed by a spirit called Betal. Vikram, according to the instruction given by the sage, travelled inside the forest. Vikram caught hold of the corpse Betal, but in order to travel along with Vikram, Betal placed a condition. Condition number one, Betal told, I will tell a story which has inbuilt provision in relation to Income Tax Act. You must unlock and find out the provisions contained in the story. And also, you must explain the provision in relation to the same, along with examples. Another condition is that if you open your mouth and answer, I will go back to the tree. Also, if you know the answer and do not answer the question, you would be denied of all exemptions under Income Tax Act and you land up paying higher taxes. But I shall give you one relaxation. While you are explaining these provisions, I may ask you examples. You must give some visual examples in order to make the journey interesting. While doing so, in course of answering, I will not be going back to the tree. Having placed all these conditions, Betal starts narrating the first story. Now, I shall start narrating my first story. Long back, there was a king who ruled the country of India, where other kings were charging taxes at maximum marginal rate on income. This king, as an act of kindness, used to charge taxes at average rate of tax. Though average rate of tax was charged, the king started collecting advance tax to compensate in fall of revenue. If taxes were not being paid by SSE, assessment would be taken up and books of accounts and other documents would be examined. O king, having explained the story, now find out the inbuilt definitions contained in the story and explain the provisions in relation to these definitions with some visual examples.
Yeah. So that's the story part of it. So since it's going to be a mixed crowd, I have taken the basic chapter of income tax. So this is the definition part of it. So now whatever you heard the story from Betal, so that is nothing but you had 10 inbuilt definitions in it. So try guessing it and the answers will be flowing right now.
Yes, Betal. These were the definitions of Income Tax Act inbuilt in your story. Now, allow me to explain the same with visual examples.
Super. So now it's the right brain what we worked out. So we said we are going to learn 10 definitions. So now the brain is prepared. So generally left brain always says no, it's difficult if you don't give a big picture to it. Now we have given a big picture saying from the story these are the 10 definitions we are going to learn. So now we are going to break it down. So we are going to use our left brain to break it down and we are going to learn how it is. And outstation students, please don't mistake. Most of the example will be from Tamil movies. So you can enjoy the movie as it is. So you'll be watching a lot of movies from this point of time.
India means the territory of India as referred to in Article 1 of the Constitution, its territorial waters.
Yes. So the first scene you saw was from a movie called Pudiya Gidai. So so you're going to watch a series of Vijay movie right now. So to understand the concept of India. So first of all, when we define India, it includes the territory of India. So where Vijay was running, so Vijay Padam Pattadonla India. So which means the land part of India, we can call it the territory of India. Okay. So now imagine for a moment, someone hands over a map to Vijay and says, this is India. So Vijay கையில நம்ம தளபதி கையில மேப் கிடைச்சா வந்துட்டு என்ன பண்ணுவாருன்னு உங்களுக்கே தெரியும், the way he examines the map. So we are going to see how Vijay will examine a map if he gets it. Yeah, so this is exactly the map which was handed over to Vijay, and this is exactly the map he was seeing. So நம்ம usually when we watch the sea or sea பார்க்குறோம் அப்படின்னா, we'll only see the water part of it. This part we'll be able to see. But given a map to Vijay, this is exactly what he does. So he bends under the table and he sees the land under the table. So that's what happens. So when he sees the land under the table, okay. So when you talk about continental shelves, now let's start defining what a continental shelf is. So assuming that this is a land, okay. So the land does not abruptly stops then and there, okay. So what happens is, from the land there is a structure which is going beneath the land, okay. So that is called as continental shelf, which is the extension of land under the sea is called as continental shelves. So what Vijay was watching is nothing but continental shelves, okay. So going further with the definition, so in simple terms, I mean the extension of land below the sea will be called as a continental shelf. So that's the first part of the definition. And a continental shelf, understand when you talk about the baseline, so generally we talk about from some point of time India starts, some line India starts. Let's understand from where the sea part of India starts. For that we'll understand some history. So in long back a UN treaty was signed, so I suppose the years 1982, United Nations signed a treaty with most of the countries, and they defined what are international waters. So based on that, they started defining international waters as 12 nautical miles, 24 nautical miles, 200 nautical miles. So 1 nautical miles is around 1.852 kilometers in stretch. So that's what they say. But let us understand how they define a baseline. So what is a baseline from which the sea part of India starts? That's what we are going to understand. Yes. So now whatever you see is, if we say, generally we have heard this definition saying, from the land, if we travel 12 nautical miles, it's territorial waters. But I mean, in my opinion, that may not exactly be right. I'll tell you why it may not be right. Okay, so now you can watch this video and you can see how the water is going to rise, right? So assuming if you say from the land 12 nautical miles, as per the definition, we are going to say from this point of time, from this line till 12 nautical miles, it will be considered as India. So that's what we generally define. But sometimes it may I mean, people can prove us wrong. I'll show you how it works. So you saw the water here. Now it starts coming inside. It goes on. It keeps coming inside. Okay. So now earlier we said from the land 12 nautical miles, right? So now what is land? The land portion has come down. The water portion has pushed and water has come here. Still we go further. So water is further coming up. It's further coming up. Yeah, so it's almost yes, it has filled our screen now. Okay, so now what you can say as land, it's below this line. So beyond the screen you can say it's a land. So technically speaking, if you say 12 nautical mile from the land, the definition may not be right. Okay, so generally what the government does is they define a high tide and a low tide area. So high tide is area, for example, when you had tsunami in Chennai, so right on the roads we saw the water flowing. So we can't say that from the from the land it's 12 nautical miles, because water has entered the city altogether, right? So the land area has come down. So that is called as a high tide. Low tide is a situation where the water goes back inside the sea. Okay, so this point, this was the least the water can go back. Beyond this, the water is not traveling back as per the video. So this can be considered as a low tide zone. This low tide zone will be called as a baseline. So the definition of India is not from the land 12 nautical miles. That's not true. from the baseline, it's 12 nautical miles. What is a baseline? Baseline is called as a low tide area. Okay, so this is a low tide area, and this is called as a baseline. From this baseline, if we travel 12 nautical miles, which is nothing but 1.852 kilometers, from this line, it's called as the territorial waters. And you're going to see Vijay swim inside a territorial water. Yeah, so everyone knows this movie. Very sorry, sir. Costing exam, I saw this movie the day before the costing exam. So I'm a typical movie buff. So next day I had my costing exam. Previous day I was inside a movie theater, and this was a movie I watched. Yes, so the place where Vijay is swimming right now is called as territorial waters. The place where Vijay in the movie called Sarathi was running was territory of India. Now he has traveled 12 nautical miles inside the water as per the definition which I gave you. So right now in Sura, he's swimming in territorial water because he's a fisherman. Yes, now you see the next, the next picture of Vijay. This is from a movie called Tupaki. Okay, so here what happened is you see ships here, right? So the background, you see a lot of ships. So beyond this point of time, this point of line, the ships cannot travel because this is called as the contiguous zone, which is the customs has the power till this point of time, and this extends till 24 nautical miles from the baseline. So as I told you, it's not the land. From the baseline, if you travel 12 nautical miles, it's called as territorial water. Again, from the baseline, if you travel 24 nautical miles, you'll be getting this contiguous zone. So contiguous zones will also include territorial waters. So that's the meaning of it, right? So I can just jot it down on an Excel sheet. So for your convenience. Yes. So we have territory. Then beyond that, we have the from the baseline, we have territorial waters. Right. The next thing, we have contiguous zone. Okay. So the contiguous zone will also include the territorial water. So which means Tupaki will also include Sura. Okay, in simple definition terms.
இத்தனை பேர் துணைக்கு இருக்கும்போது லாக் ரிலீஸ் பண்ணிட்டு அடிக்க பயப்படுறல அந்த பயம் எனக்கு.
Waters, seabed and subsoil underlying such waters.
So we'll get to know some of the science. So we understood the history. So UN signed this international water pact, and they said they divided the entire place into 12, 24, and 200 nautical miles. So if we say subsoil, how do we find it? So a person cannot dive inside the sea and swim. Okay, so they can't get into Mariana Trench and say that okay, this is the land. So definitely they should have some mechanism. So to find what is the depth of a seabed, so they use a device called sonar. So you can hear how a sonar. So the music of sonar. Okay, so you can hear that. So same technique as bat follows. So the sound hits the ground and it comes back. So they can understand till what depth it goes. Okay. So till the subsoil, till the depth of the sea, we can call it to be India. Right. So the subsoil also becomes part of India.
Continental Shelf, exclusive economic zone.
Yeah. So generally, when we watch a Tamil movie, you can say when we have a comparative scale, we have Talapati and we have Surya. So always we'll say that Talapati is always better than Surya. So படத்துல தான் பீட் பண்ண முடியல, படகுலையாவது பீட் பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னு Surya is traveling. So where he is traveling beyond the place where Vijay was situated. So Vijay was there in territorial waters, right? So you saw Sura, he was swimming, he's a fisherman. Then he traveled, he's an officer now. In Tupaki movie, he has traveled to the customs water, or we can say the contiguous zone. Okay, he has traveled till 24 nautical miles. Now Surya, at least நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி படத்துலையாவது ஒன்றும் பண்ண முடியல, படகுலையாவது பீட் பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு he's traveling into a further depth. In the Singham 2 movie பார்க்கும்போது when Surya gets into the vessel, இந்த ஷிப்குள்ள என்டர் பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி there'll be a dialogue. So he'll say that Rahman is in mid-sea அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. So mid-sea definitely should be beyond 24 nautical miles. So contiguous zone தாண்டி தான் mid-sea இருக்கணும். Okay, if you go by that logic, Surya is traveling to a place called exclusive economic zone.
Or any other maritime.
Yeah, so exclusive economic zone is a place where you can do economic exploitations. For example, if you want crude oil is coming out. So Reliance has, in fact, Mukesh Ambani has become, he has come within the top 10 list of richest people in the world. So because of a deal he has signed with Abu Dhabi based concern. So that is again, they extract crude oil out of the seabeds, right? So we get salt out of seabed, we get fish out of seabeds, right? So all these are economic resources inside the sea. So the central government has the duty of ensuring that the marine life is not getting affected. That is one part of it. Also, they will allow, in agreement with companies, they can allow the company to utilize the resources which are in the marine. So inside the sea, whatever resource they have, they can use it for commercial purpose. So that place is called as exclusive economic zone. So which means exclusive economic zone. Aதாவது Singam 2 will include Tupaki, will include Sura, and will also include Pudiya Gide. Okay, so that's how it goes.
Time zone as referred to in the territorial waters, continental shelf, exclusive economic zone and other maritime zones Act 1976, 80 of 1976, and the airspace above its territory and territorial waters.
Yeah. So now you see Talabadi on air. Okay, so it's not only Talabadi can swim, he can go under the water, he can also travel above the air, denying all the gravitational laws. Okay, so that is called as the airspace. Okay, so above the territory, which means above the land, we have the air. So the airspace will also belong to India. Similarly, from territorial waters, we have air up. Okay, so 12 nautical miles, we have water. Under that territorial water, we have subsoil, that is also India. Above that territorial waters, we have the air, the sky, that is also India, right? So also they have said till exclusive economic zone, based on the notifications given by the government, the airspace will also belong to India. Yeah, I guess you can try guessing the movie, the same movie. Okay, it's again the Singam 2. So now you are going to meet a daring villain of this movie.
Who am I?
Yeah, who is he? Okay, so he is nothing but high seas. So when Rahman in Singam 2 is there in exclusive economic zone, in this movie, his name is Danny, the villain is Danny. So Danny, he'll have an introduction saying he's in international waters. So what do you mean by international waters? He's beyond Rahman, and it's beyond 200 nautical miles. So you can see Danny in international waters. This is called as high seas. So the answer to who he is, he's in high sea. Okay, so a simple memory rule, it will follow right now.
King of the Indian Ocean!
Yeah, so you see the sea, and the camera is moving high above the sea, so high seas.
Waters, Article 1 to Constitution of India, that
Right, so in a nutshell, we said India will be divided into, first, the territory of India, the land. Then we move to 12 nautical miles from the baseline. So I said, what is a baseline? So water travels, we have a high tide and low tide zone. From the low tide zone, we travel 12 nautical miles, which is a baseline. So that is called as the territorial waters. From the baseline, another 24 nautical miles we travel, that is called as contiguous zones, or called as customs water too. Okay, again from the baseline we travel 200 nautical miles, so that is called as exclusive economic zone. Again from the baseline, if it's beyond 200 nautical miles, it's called as high seas. So that's how the water is divided. Okay, that's the definition of India you should be writing in your exam. Second thing, what is continental shelf? It's nothing but you have the land here. The land does not terminate at the point where the sea starts. Never it happens. So the land will have an extension. That extension is the natural extension of land. Okay, so through the seabed, it's called as a continental shelf. If the continental shelf is traveling beyond 200 nautical miles, so sometimes there'll be a natural surface which can travel beyond the 200 nautical mile. So if it's starting within 200 nautical miles and ending after 200 nautical miles, still that continental shelf will be treated as India. For example, you have a rock surface which extends beyond that 200 nautical mile. This rock surface is also called as India.
is Bharat shall be a union of states, the states and the territories thereof shall be as specified in the first schedule. The territory of India shall comprise A. The territories of the states, B. the Union territories specified in the first schedule, and C. Such other territories as may be acquired equals 29 states plus 7 Union territories. Maximum marginal rate, maximum.
So first definition we have done. Out of 10, the first one is done. Income, I'm not taking up today. It's a very long definition. So due to paucity of time, we'll go on to the next definition, which is MMR.
Marginal rate means the rate of income tax, including surcharge on income tax, if any applicable in relation to the highest slab of income.
Yeah, so that Bonda Koli is 30%. Okay, so when you talk about maximum marginal rate, it's the highest rate which is chargeable either to an individual, or it can be to a AOP, or it can be to a BOI. So as per the relevant Finance Act. So as per the Finance Act, for your exam, it is 30%. So MMR shall be charged at the rate of 30%.
In the case of an individual, association of persons, or as the case may be, body of individuals, as specified in the Finance Act of the relevant year. Short title, extent.
So the second definition is done. So first we finished the definition of India. So you saw Sura Vijay, who is territorial water. You saw Pudiya Gidai, which is territory. Then you saw Tupaki Vijay. So that person is customs water. Then you saw Singham Surya. Okay, so that person is exclusive economic zone. So then you saw Dani. So Dani is high sea. Okay, so that's how the first definition got divided. The second definition of maximum marginal rate, you saw Vadivelu calling that lady Bonda Koli. Okay, so that is 30%. Okay, so MMR can be calculated at 30%. So two definitions done. We are moving to the third one.
And commencement. This act may be called the Income Tax Act 1961. It extends to the whole of India.
Yes, so that's one of the famous movie. I don't know. I'm a fan of old movies. In fact, I love watching old movies. So that's the movie of Bharat Vilas. Bharat Vilas is the movie, and so you saw the actor Nadigar Tilagam Shivaji there. So the act extends to whole of India. So which means income tax can be implemented in entire India. So that's what it says. And whether including Jammu and Kashmir, not including Jammu and Kashmir, the scrap of article. So that's not relevant as of today. But yes, so earlier it had an impact, but income tax did not have the impact at all. So even earlier it extends to whole of India, including Jammu and Kashmir. So it extends to whole of India. So whatever geographical map we have, so it extends to the entire India. So that is the second thing.
Save as otherwise provided in this act, it shall come into force on the first day of April 1960.
Okay, so which means in the previous year 1961 it came into force, and in assessment year 1962, so this is nothing but a previous year, and this is nothing but an assessment year. So that's how income tax is divided. So in this class I'm not covering that part. Okay, so we go further.
Average rate of income tax. Average rate of income tax means the rate arrived at by dividing the amount of income tax calculated on the total income by such total income.
Okay, so here what do you mean by average rate of tax? Assuming you have a tax total income of 10 lakhs, and assuming that your taxes are 1,20,000. Okay. So if you divide the total tax, right? So the total tax divided by total income. Okay. So total income tax payable divided by total income, you get the average rate of tax. So this divided by this, you get 12%. So your average rate of tax is 12%. Okay. So that's the meaning of it. Right. So that is average rate of tax. So with that, again, we try to build on because brain likes increments. So as I told you, first we finished what is India, then we finished what is a maximum marginal rate, then we finished what is an act. Okay, so now we move to what is an average rate of income tax. Okay, so average rate of tax we have completed.
Definitions. In this act, unless the context otherwise requires advance tax. Means.
So generally, when you have a means definition, it means it's an exhaustive definition. Okay, so we can say so தலையோட wife யாரு அப்படின்னா ஷாலினி. Okay, so it's a means definition, so it's exhaustive. So if we say wife of Ajit, we can only say it's Shalini. Okay, but just for an example, on a lighter note, don't take it too seriously. If you take Radhika, actress Radhika, we can say like 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it happens like that. So multiple marriages. So when you talk about husband, whether we don't know, it's like current, previous, or previous. So that is called as an inclusive definition, right? So definition are two types. One is includes, one is means. There can be a possibility where you can have a means and includes definition. So now we are going to see what is an advanced tax. You can hear it from the minor.
வாழ்க்கையில இதெல்லாம் சகஜம் தானே. அப்ப நீங்க தான் இவ்வளவு ரேப் பண்ணீங்க. ஆமா, பஞ்சாயத்துல கல்யாணம் பண்ணிக்க சொல்லி தீர்ப்பு சொல்லிட்டாங்க. கட்டலன்னா 2000 அபராதம் கட்டினா போட்டு சொல்லிட்டாங்கல்ல. ஓஹோ, இப்ப ரேப் பண்ணதுக்காக 2000 ரூபாய் அபராதம் கட்ட போறீங்க? இல்ல, போன பஞ்சாயத்திலே முன் பணமா 2000 ரூபாய் கட்டி.
Okay, so when you talk about this situation, okay, so what do you mean by advance tax? So here this incident happened, he has paid in advance. Okay, so whatever it is. So when you talk about advance tax, it means that I'm going to project my revenue. So I don't know what my revenue is going to be. Assuming that sitting in the first quarter, so June 2020, so I'm in the first quarter. Sitting in the first quarter, I have to know what will be my profits throughout the year. So till March 21, whatever I'll be earning, so that should be made as a projection. Based on the projection, I'll start paying taxes. So this is called as advance tax. Whatever minor did was an advance payment. Okay, so here advance tax, you make a projection, you pay. There he was making a projection, he paid. Okay, so that is called as whatever incident he's going to do, he made a projection, he paid. So that is an advance tax which he has done. As a professional, what will you do is, for the first quarter, we'll say that okay, whatever for the year, what we are going to earn throughout the year, so on that we pay. So that is called as an advance tax in simple terms.
The advance tax payable in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 17C, 243 tax in relation to the assessment year commencing on the first day of April 2006, and any subsequent assessment year includes the fringe benefit tax.
Yeah, so this thing I can never forget, because 2009 I was writing my CA exam. So it was very comical. So we had costing paper code on the gun. Okay, so that was a code irony, total irony. I don't know whether it was a planned execution. So next one we had income tax as a paper. So income tax code was FBT. Okay, that's the year in which they removed or abolished FBT. So we didn't know whether they're going to abolish all the students who are going to write the exam. So on a lighter note, so that happened. So FBT is no longer in existence. So earlier they had a tax called fringe benefit tax, which was supposed to be paid by the employers. So that got abolished in the year 2009, if I'm not wrong. So that happened. So now we can say that income tax, the tax includes whatever tax you pay. So it will include your TDS, so TCS, MAT, AMT, all that will be included in the term called tax, because they have given a inclusive definition. So tax in relation to assessment year commencing on or after 1st April 2006 and subsequent years includes fringe benefits. So they say fringe benefit is also a tax. TDS is also a tax, because they have given an inclusive definition.
Payable under Section 115W. Assessee means a person by whom any tax or any other sum of money is payable under this Act. And
Yeah, so initially Vijay Pati, I was like giving a lot of examples, so people should not treat I'm a big Vijay fan. So I love all movies. I'm a big movie buff. I watch all movies whatsoever. So now you're going to get an example of Tala Ajit. Okay, so that's a speech given, and you're going to get an example out of it.
அப்படி பார்த்தா தமிழ்நாட்டுல எந்த ஒரு நடிகரும் நேர்மையான முறையில சம்பாதிக்கலையே. எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு பார்த்தா ஒரே ஒரு நடிகர் தவிர, அஜித்தை தவிர.
Yeah, so everyone knows this person, right? So no introduction required. So when you talk about this, he was talking about Ajit paying taxes, right? So assuming that Ajit has he is paying taxes of so Ajit is paying taxes of say 5 crores. Okay, so 5 crore is a tax payable, right? So this is a payable sum, right? And he discharges the liability. So what he does is pays it, he pays the taxes. Okay, so by paying 5 crore, he discharges the liability. So we can't say that 5 crore was payable. 5 crore minus 5 crore, the taxes become 0. So therefore, Ajit is not an SSE. That's not it. Okay. So they say that when they define SSE, first thing they say that SSE means a person who's liable to pay tax. Okay. So there should be a liability. So this is called as a liability point, and this is called as the discharge point. Okay. So we have a liability here. So this liability is getting discharged here. If a person has a liability, that is this stage, okay, someone is liable, this person is called as an SSE, whether or not he's going to discharge his liability. Okay, so this point itself will be denoted as an SSE. Okay, and the word SSE is very important because certain exemptions, certain deductions in income tax is applicable only to SSEs and not to every person. So in simple terms, every SSE will definitely be a person, but every person need not be an SC. Okay, so every person need not be an SC. Right? So every person need not be an SC. Okay, so that's the most important point. So in this case, Ajit will be an SSE even though his net tax liability is nil. He was liable to pay tax, so the liability has arisen. So this point of time will be called as an SSE. Okay, so now we go to the next concept of it.
Includes every person in respect of whom any proceeding under this Act has been taken for the assessment of his income or assessment of fringe benefits or of the income of any other person in respect of which he is assessable.
Yeah, everyone knows this person, so soon we can expect him back. So there was a court ruling very recently. Okay, so this everyone knows him. So this person, yes, I guess most of you will be knowing him. He would have people would have seen him in cricket stadiums with Deepika. Okay, so this person is called as Siddharth Mallya. Okay, so assuming Vijay Mallya is out of India, so certain cases of Vijay Mallya, if it is supposed to be handled by someone, Vijay Mallya will say, why don't Siddharth Mallya, my son, handle the case on my behalf? So Siddharth become the representative SC of Vijay Mallya. So even though assuming no tax is payable by Siddharth, okay, no proceeding is against him, but on behalf of Vijay Mallya, Siddharth Mallya is taking a case, so he becomes a representative SSE. So even representative SSEs are SSEs as per Income Tax Act. So rule number 1, Ajit is an SC because he is liable to pay tax, even though there is no proceeding against him. Second case, Vijay Mallya. Okay, so Vijay Mallya is out of India. Someone should be taking the case on his behalf. So Siddharth Mallya becomes a representative SC. So that is point number 2.
Or of the loss sustained by him or by such other person, or of the amount of refund due to him or...
Yes, so if some refund is due to you, still you are an SSE, even though there is no tax payable. I mean, you have paid your taxes, you have set off your taxes, and there is a refund due, or there is zero taxes, you are just about to get a refund, still you are an SC.
To such other person, every person who is deemed to be an SSE under any provision of this Act, every person who is deemed to be an SSE in default under any provision of this Act.
So this was one of the news which recently came up on Vishal. So this news which I wanted to share because it's very relevant for our studies.
இல்லைங்க, நான் இப்ப சண்டைக்கோழி 2 ஷூட்டிங்ல இருந்தேன். இந்த மாதிரி ஐடி அபிஷியல்ஸ் வந்திருக்காங்கன்ட்டு சொல்லியிருந்தாங்க. அப்புறம் யாருமே இல்ல ஆபீஸ்ல, எல்லாம் படப்பிடிப்புல இருந்தாங்க. ஸோ எல்லாரும் என்னோட ஆபீஸ் சார்ந்தவங்க போய் சந்திக்கும் போது டிடிஎஸ் சம்பந்தப்பட்ட விஷயத்துக்காக தான் வந்திருக்காங்க.
Right. So when assuming that Siddharth has Vishal has a own production company, okay, and assuming in Sandakori 2 we had Raj Kiran, we had Kirti Suresh, the bigger cast were acting. So assuming a payment was being made to them without deducting TDS, even though Vishal is proper in paying taxes, if he does not deduct TDS, okay, so it was just a notice, nothing was proved against him. So in case a notice is being sent and he's claimed as an SC in default, even SSE in default will be considered as an SSE. So even though assuming there is no taxes payable, nothing happens, but still he's not deducting TDS, he becomes a default SSE. So SSE in default will also be considered as an SSE. Okay.
Assessment includes the assessment.
Yeah. So when we talk about reassessment, okay, So we have something called as assessment. Okay, so in final you'll be studying this. You have something called as 143.3, which is called as scrutiny assessment, assuming that one source of income has escaped out of it. So what they'll do is, for the same assessment here, they're going to take one more assessment. So that is called as reassessment. Assuming they have not taken a scrutiny assessment at all, very first time they are taking an assessment, it is termed as income escaping assessment. So the entire section of 147, which you'll be studying in your final, so that is called as income escaping assessment. It's not technically called as reassessment, it's called as income escaping assessment. So once you do your scrutiny, and again, so again, the assessment is taken up for the same assessment here. It is called as reassessment, and here is Simbu dancing for you.
Books of account.
இந்த பையனை வச்சு பார்த்து நீயே கட்டி போட்டு.
So what does your books of accounts include? So you can see probably anyone who has done manual audit of ledgers, day books, you'll be knowing what Genelia is carrying in her hand. Okay, so I have done. I started doing my CA in the year 2007. So 2007, I've seen all such books in all government offices I've gone. So this is called as a ledger. This can also be a cash book. Okay, so cash book will have it will look almost similar. So it can also be a bank book. Okay, so that is called as a day book. Okay, so we can have it can be called as a day book, or it can be a ledger, it can be a cash book, it can be called as an accounts book. Okay, or it can be any other books. So simple for example, your gate registers and all that. So it can be anything. So that is called as books of accounts or any other documents. That's why they defined it that way.
எல்லாமே நீ சொல்ற.
படிக்கிறதுக்கு எந்த புக்கும் கிடைக்கலன்னு போன வருஷம் அக்கவுண்ட்ஸ் புக் எடுத்து படிச்சிட்டு இருந்தேன் மாமா. சீட்டிங் நடக்குது மாமா. பெரிய சீட்டிங் நடக்குது. சீட்டிங்னா? திருட்டுத்தனம் மாமா. 5 ரூபாய் கணக்குல குறையுது.
Account. Books of account include ledgers, day books, cash books, account books, and other books, whether kept in the written form or as printouts of data stored in a floppy disk, tape, or any other form of electromagnetic data storage device.
Okay, so now it's time to summarize. So as I told you how your brain works, it works on increments. So first, I started with the story of Betal. So Betal was narrating a story, and the story had inbuilt provisions of Income Tax Act. So what we did was Vikram started summarizing all that 10 definitions altogether. Okay, so that is the right part of the brain. So we said this is going to be the bigger picture of what we are going to do today. Then we used our left brain. We said we are going to break it down into particles, and we are going to analyze it one by one. So we did that. After that, it's always good to cement. So whatever we saw, we are going to see this in picture format. So that's going to be a picture summary for you. We'll quickly do a picture quizzing, since I won't be able to quiz you. So I'll quiz myself, and I'll keep giving answers. Okay. So first thing, this is a scene which we saw where it's from the movie called Pudiya Gidai. Vijay will be running on the shore of a sea. Okay. So this is called as the land of India, which is nothing but the territory of India. So then the next image we saw was the Katti scene. He was examining a map. So why he was seeing a map? He was seeing under the sea. You see the sea here. So below the sea, our Talabadi started viewing the map so that he can see the continental shelf under the sea. Okay. So the land is extending beyond that surface, and it's going deep inside the sea, and it is termed as a continental shelf. That's what Katti Vijay was seeing through the map. He was seeing the continental shelf. Okay. So the land which goes below the sea level, it's called as continental shelf. It may or may not extend beyond the high seas. So that is the next thing. Okay. So then you saw the Sura Vijay. Okay. So Sura Vijay was he's a fisherman. So fishermen generally they try to do the fishing activity well within the 12 nautical miles limit. So you can see Vijay swimming. Okay. So Sura is nothing but the territorial waters, because it extends from 12 nautical mile from the baseline. So I gave you the logic of baseline. So baseline is nothing but from the low tide zone, they extend till 12 nautical miles. So that's the logic behind it. So Sura Vijay is swimming inside the territorial waters, which is within the 12 nautical miles. So first we had the territory of India. Now we are having the territorial waters, Sura. The next thing you saw Vijay in Tupaki, and you see a lot of ships parked behind. So the reason being the ship cannot travel beyond this limit, because it's nothing. Because it's a customs water, or we can say it's a contiguous zone. So contiguous zone will be extending 24 nautical miles from the baseline. So Tupaki Vijay is in contiguous zone right now. Okay. So as I told you, Surya wanted to overtake Vijay, and he wanted to go and travel beyond Vijay. So what he does is he goes to the mid sea. So he travels from the baseline within 200 nautical miles. He travels, and this is called as an exclusive economic zone where economic exploitation can take place. Okay, so that's what we saw. Then you saw Sarathi or Pudiyagide Vijay. He's floating on air. So which means the air above the territorial waters, above the territory, is also called as India. So based on notifications, we can say even the air above exclusive economic zone will also be termed as India. So you see Vijay floating here on air. So Vijay, even though he's floating on air, it is also called as India. He's well within India. Okay. So next thing you saw Danny. Okay. So he asked, "Who am I?" He is nothing but he's the high sea because he's in international water. So this place can be called as high seas, which will be extending beyond 200 nautical mile. So then you saw maximum marginal rate. You saw Vadivelu there. Okay, so he was telling 30 வயசு முன்னாடி கல்யாணம் ஆக வேண்டியோ இன்னும் கோபம் போட்டுட்டு இருக்கா. So this lady is nothing but 30%. She can be called as MMR. Okay, so we saw the definition of maximum marginal rate. Income I didn't take today. I'm skipping that. Then we moved on to the next one. So we moved on to something called as Act. It is getting hidden here. So here, yeah, so you have it. So you saw Shivaji there. So Bharati Villa. Okay, so that is nothing but Act. The Act extends to whole of India, and the birthday of this Act is 1st April 1961. And assessment here, the rules came 1st April 1962. Okay, so then I gave an example here of average rate of tax. So total tax payable divided by total income will be considered as average rate of tax. Then you saw minor. Okay, so minor in the section la paathom. So minor vanditu we talked about advance tax. So he says panchayathukku na pona panchayathile na vandu mun padama na kattiten appdin solluvaru. Okay, which is nothing but he has paid an advance tax. So he has estimated an incident, and based on that estimation he has paid a amount which is nothing but an advance tax. Okay, so the next one we saw Kattabomman Shivaji. Okay, so ivar edha pathi pesuvarna vari. Okay, so then we understood what a tax is. So tax includes fringe benefit tax also. Okay, so as of now it's abolished. So then we saw this. Okay, so first image we saw was in relation to SSE. So you saw this person speaking on Ajit, the only actor who is paying taxes properly. Okay, so this was about an SSE who's liable to pay tax. Ajit is liable to pay tax. Ajit will be an SSE. Okay, so next one you saw Siddharth Malia, son of Vijay Malia. He becomes a representative SC. This one probably I've not covered in this chapter, but later on the same image comes, so I didn't want to repeat it. So recently you got a judgment in relation to J. Jayalalitha, our honorable former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. Okay, so Deepa was declared as the legal heir of Jayalalitha. Okay, so Mrs. Deepa will be considered as the legal representative of deceased, who's a former chief minister. So legal representatives will also be considered as an SSE. So then you had Vishal, who was served with a tedious default notice. So this actor can be considered as SSE in default. So even SSE in default is an SSE. So that we saw. Then we saw Simbu dancing with Reema Sen and Nayanthara. So this is nothing but reassessment. Okay, so an assessment happening again. 143. Again, they are taking up a 147 assessment. So this is called as a reassessment. So they said that assessment includes Simbu, which is assessment includes reassessment. Okay, so the next one, the last definition we saw about what is a books of accounts and other documents. So we said books of accounts includes cash book, ledgers, day book, or any other book, whether maintained in hard copy or it's maintained in soft copy in floppy devices, etc., will be considered as books of accounts. So that's the entire picture of all definitions we saw today. And since, as I told you, the first condition the Betal kept was if Vikram opens the mouth during his travel, the Vedal will travel back to the tree. So that's where Vedal is traveling back. And I hope the session was good. And I guess it's time for you also to travel back. Yes, sir. So with that, I guess we are done for the day. If you have any doubts, you can place it on the comment box. I'll be more than happy to reply.
Wonderful movie.
Thank you so much.
Direction, everything you want, screenplay, Very good, Kanna. Very good, Kanna.
ER fan also, sir.
ஐயோ பாவம். So attractive also. So many nice comments. நீ இது மாதிரிலாம் எடுத்தா அப்புறம் எங்கள்கிட்ட கிளாஸ் வருவான்.
என்ன சார்? சார்
இது எடுத்தா எங்கள்கிட்ட கிளாஸ் வருவான்.
அப்படி இல்ல சார், உங்களை பார்த்து
for costing also. Otherwise, no student will respect me then. So excellent performance. Good. Very nice. I think for your class, no absenteeism will be there. Always 100% presence are right? Nobody will sleep also. Individual class whistle also கேக்குமா? Whistle sound வரும் போல இருக்கு உனக்கு.
என்ன சார்?
Good.
Thank you, sir.
Now I understood why you are having more fan falls. Seminar Sikasa conference la madla ஏறணும் அவ்வளவு claps உனக்கு. Very good.
இறங்க சொல்லி தட்டி இருப்பாங்க சார், வேற எதுவும்.
Okay. Our faculty Bharat Kumar is also there. Okay. Yes, Bharat.
Hi Anish, how are you?
Fantastic, sir. Doing good.
Very nice. What I understood is you are a movie buff and you had a fantastic sense of humor, because only then we can connect with something called DT. We know it is ocean, but with high C itself, you have completed the whole thing. That's fantastic. But what you have not done is you have not touched on the other subjects, but I thought maybe I will have to touch the other subjects also. What you have done is you have touched direct tax. But why not we can connect all these things? I understood the moment when you say books, you be connected company law. Section 2 subsection 12 is connected. Section 2 subsection 13 is connected. Books and papers, books of accounts was connected. Fantastic. So I remember the Vadivel's joke when it was like doing that column. I still remember when we were taking classes for the hourglass structure. The middle layer alone will not do anything. I still remember the Vadivel being a conductor. The driver will be doing, and he is the CFO of the company. And the people who are pushing the bus will be employees of the company. But one fellow alone will go separately and he will say, "Talu, talu, talu, talu." Hugh is more like a middle level manager. He will not do any work. And that's how we remember hourglass structure. So I was able to remember exactly the same way when it was hourglass. So that was fantastic. The moment when we say high seas from one seas to another, automatically we should connect logistics also, correct? Because only when we have logistics, we will have departments. Logistics will connect with supply chain management in information technology. So that will get connected from there. Business process modules, you have indirectly connected. So half of our ITSM is completely done by showing. I was like very happy that the actors, whenever we say actors, Hari sir will not be entertaining all that, but when we were taking up, at least for this, they were like examples, not the real life heroes, but at least for income tax, they were able to bring really strong. And means and includes definition were a level, because with means and includes is done. Automatically your interpretation of statutes and general clauses act were done, because without knowing means and includes definition, we cannot touch on interpretation. So law is done. I know that project D, Daniel has come into from high seas, and indirectly you have brought economics like mercantilism, absolute advantage, comparative advantage, and all. It's running in my head. So whole of economics is also done. So it is not just the direct tax that you have completed. You have completed law, IT and SM you have touched, and economics you have touched, and accounts automatically you connected inside section 2 subsection 7 and section 2 subsection 31. Assessee person is also done, so indirectly relative is done. So I don't know what else we have not touched. We have completed almost the syllabus within an hour. So it is fantastic. I completely enjoyed. I felt very bad because I joined a bit late to this session, but anyways, nevertheless, it will be saved by our Hari sir. I can watch it a number of times, and maybe I can take inspiration from your class and do something more for people who are studying ITSM, because tax is on one side, ITSM is another level. So we will have to bring the gap. You did for IT income tax, I will do it for IT information technology. So thank you so much for this. So we really enjoyed, and people were only they were restricting their messages because everybody's sense of humor started getting up. Thank God the people did not message anything in the chat box. They were only listening. So that's fantastic. So thank you so much for the session.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good, Kana. Thank you. All the best. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Bye. Thank you, Bharat Kumar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All viewers, thank you so much. Tomorrow also we are having program 5 o'clock. Tomorrow's program topic is how common man is affected due to COVID-19 impact in economy by Ramana Kumar sir. He is a chartered accountant as well as practicing advocate. So tomorrow evening 5 o'clock the program will be there. Keep watch. Okay. Bye bye all of you. Thank you for your participation, all the students. Bye.
Bye.
Tomorrow we can meet.
Thank you, sir.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.